And I think we could let people in. So welcome to Meet the Viz.
Thank you.
I love it.
Oh,
Hey, how's everyone doing?
Good.
Woo! How are you today?
Hey guys, how are you?
Hello, guys.
Good. How are you, Santiago?
Hey, everybody.
Hey baby.
Hey, everyone. Hey,
Hey,
Shannon.
Davey.
Hi,
Hey,
David.
so many
David.
people.
Hi, David.
Hey, we're having a party today.
Hey, David.
What
Hey.
party?
Take your pills.
Yeah. All right, yeah.
It's okay.
And today we have on Meet the Viz. Okay, this man, he's a creator. He's a director of many genres like animation, cult, and horror. I mean, I talked to him the other day for the first time on the phone, and I could feel just by like talking to him on the phone, you know, when you just like connect with somebody and go, God, that man has a beautiful soul. And I thought, oh my God, I'm excited that he's here today. I'm just going to introduce him, bring him on, a wonderful man, Adam Deyoe.
Hello.
Hey.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Sometimes I write questions down in a row or this or that. What do you, but I have to start off because it keeps on coming to my mind about this beautiful movie that you just, that's in film festivals right now, Davy's Lullaby.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I touched my heart so much. And what made you direct and create that piece of art?
So I could try and make this really quick and succinct, but it's a long, long story. I had made a movie back in 2013, the same movie, but it was live action. And it starred a friend of mine named Uncle Gene. He was just a close friend. And we were shooting this movie. It was a feature-length movie. He was starring in it. And very sadly, about a little less than halfway through shooting, he got very sick and he died. And so it was really hard. The other star of the movie, he strangely soon after, he also died. So it was horrible. So I didn't really think about it for a long time because it was devastating. Then in 2020, I was about to shoot a really big action film in Hawaii called Decade of the Dead. It's a zombie movie.
Yeah.
And we went out and we did our location scout, and on the way back we weren't all feeling very well, and our producer got really sick, and our director of photography got really sick, and our producer was put on a respirator, and and we found out about COVID, and so we had to cancel the film. We were supposed to shoot April 1st, 2020. Right. And we were quite devastated. And my wife said, I was like, I got to make something. I don't know if I'll ever be able to make anything again. I don't know what's happening. She said, well, have you ever thought about revisiting the thing you did back in 2013 with your friend? And I said, that would be really difficult. How would I can't do anything live action. She said, well, you've been doing a lot of animation. Maybe you could try and make it into a short, and maybe we could make something together in the garage or something with stop motion. And that's where it came from. So we wrote a little small part of that movie. We took just the main part of it at the beginning, like the inciting incident. Yeah. Made some puppets, made some sets in the garage, and 2 years later, it took 2 years to shoot it. Every single night, after I put my son to bed, I'd go out there and shoot all night by myself in the garage. And then we made this little movie, and that's what it is. And with that, I mean, we'll get into Casey and you know, and how we and Mary and how we got all that together. But it was everything worked out really well. So.
Well, you know, Casey, of course I've known, like I told you, Mary for years. She was one of my first friends when I got to Los Angeles, and she just opened the door to this, to my life, to my, and I'm so blessed with it. And everybody, exciting news. The stars of this wonderful film are here today too, as well. It's Casey and Mary Rings. There they are.
Hey.
Hi, Adam. Hi, David. Good to see you both.
Hello.
We're so happy to be here too.
Oh, I love it. Well, again, I saw this film because Mary said, you have to come see this film and this and that. And then she sent me a link. I watched it and I was just crying and laughing and going, oh my God. And how did you decide to cast Casey and Mary?
It's another fairly long story, but so I was how do I even say this? Okay, so I've told them this story before. It's kind of an aggravating story, actually. But I was looking for somebody with Down syndrome to play the part, and I didn't want anything else other than that. So I went on some of those, just, you know, it was during pandemic, so I didn't have very many options. I couldn't have auditions or things. So I went on some of those websites where like Actors Access, those kind of things, to look for people. And I wrote that specifically in my ad saying like, but they said I couldn't write that.
Right.
They said that you can't ask for specific things like that. So you can say people with Down syndrome may apply. And I said, okay, well, why can't I write that? Well, I said something along the lines of it being ableist. And I said, okay, I guess I kind of understand that. So I'll do what you tell me to do.
No, wait a minute. With the description of the character, you couldn't write.
I couldn't say that only people with Down syndrome will be accepted.
But was the character described having Down syndrome?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I was a little confused by it, but I'm trying to, you know, understand how, you know, like everything. But I I had like 150 people submit and not a single person had Down syndrome. And I said, how am I going to do this? And I wasn't going to do that. And so I went and I just looked around. Since I'm in LA, I looked for acting classes and other groups and churches and things that had programs. And well, I just cold called the Born to Act players. I cold called Mary. I actually emailed her first. I didn't hear back from her. I maybe sent the wrong email or something. And then she called me back immediately.
Yeah.
And she set up auditions with everybody in her class, told me about Casey, said that she said, that's my son. You can't just pick my son. You have to go through everything. We have to be fair. And I said, okay. Right. And so we went through and had some auditions. And as it came out, then we, you know, Casey got the part. And then Mary ended up playing the mother character in it as well, because she fit the part too. And I thought that was quite beautiful. So well, that's the short version of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I thought made it so magical too is to actually have a true mother and son connection. Mm-hmm. And it just added to that, the history of the emotionality of it as well. So Mary and Casey, what about you? What is your story about this? When did, you know, I'll just, I love it.
Well, let me go first. You know.
Well, we loved, you know, reading for it, and then it was all on Zoom, and it was, you know, so interesting. And Akram did the sound from here for, you know, for the parts that we were in, which was wonderful too. And
well, you have such a great microphone.
Yeah, truly. And yeah, it was just wonderful. Adam's so great to work with, and so he's, like you said, he's just so wonderful. He has a great soul. He's a wonderful person. And I hadn't actually met him till a couple of weeks ago. He came to a Born to Act class, and that was like such a thriller. You know, we were so happy to have him, and he's such a great sport. And he did improv with us. He met everybody. He did everything with us.
He flinches up
I
improv.
know. but
That's
he
my
was
nightmare.
wonderful.
Yes, improv is my nightmare. So,
Why is it your nightmare?
anxiety. I can't be on stage. So
You like behind the scenes.
yes.
Well, here's my mom's also. This is true. So wait a minute. When I was a kid, I was wrestling a long time ago, my years. It was me and my brother, and we wrestled in the time when we were kids. No, I was growing up when we're growing up. So I met two people I know. One I met a Michigan, Green Rapids. I met a Stone Cold Steve Austin. I met him in person. So we did a plane back home. I saw the game called Triple H. So I met him on the plane. So we were just talking. It's like, well, you know, it's so cool. So when I was about Adam, he said that how do you feel doing the movie, the movie thing? And I said, oh yeah, absolutely. I love. I made a couple of movies I have so far, but this is the biggest deal for me. I mean, me and my mom. So he cast me. When I do that, so I do that. So I mean, it's fine. It's cool. You know,
Well, you're
like,
such a wonderful actor, you know.
And Davey and Casey have this wrestling thing in common. It's like so many things. That's what, like, I mean, it was like, are you Davey or are you Casey? I don't know.
Did that happen naturally? Did you find out that he liked
Oh,
wrestling?
in the movie, Davey's all about wrestling and wearing wrestling shirts. And that's what Casey usually wears around all the time too. You know, it was kind of magical.
That was based completely, everything in the movie was based on my friend, and he was loved wrestling. I mean, everything in his room is that's his room. You know, everything in the living room, it was his living room. Yeah. And Casey had such similar tastes and such similar things. It just it was perfect. Yeah,
it was perfect. How have you done that type of? I know you do everything. You do animation. You do horror. What have you done that type of animation a lot before?
I've never. This is my first time ever doing that. Yeah,
that's amazing.
And then it won in Ireland. Where else did it win?
It's some different festivals. It's won some awards for animation and stuff, which I'm pretty shocked by. I honestly, and I'm not trying to be humble or anything, but I do find my animation pretty rough around the edges. If I ever had money to do a movie like this, I would definitely hire actual animators. That's not just me in my garage, you know.
But you know what? That's what makes this precious and special. Because you could feel it. I mean, it reminded me of one of those films growing up, and one of those films with amazing heart to it. I'm like tearing up right now thinking about it. It's just, it really is. Now, here's the thing is with this. I mean, you've been to, like you said, many festivals. You just got back from New York, right?
Yeah, a few weeks ago or a month ago.
Real Abilities.
Yes.
So it was there, which is a huge festival, and now it's in Los Angeles coming up this weekend, right?
Yeah, it's playing on Saturday at 2:45 at the Chinese Theater. So I'm very excited about that. Yeah.
I've seen Ron Johnny dance. Yay! So get your tickets. Go.
Yeah, anybody who wants to come, please do.
Yeah. So
we have ours.
Oh yes.
I love it. Well, I'm so glad, Mary and Casey, that you jumped on, that you could come today, because I thought, you know,
I'm so thankful
to have the director and to the stars here would be magical.
No, I love you. You're a clinical stars. You're a family, David. And this thing, your moment about the geese, you're a very nice guy, David. And I love you. You've been part of family for a lot of years, 7. No, I like you, man. You're other guy I never met or met.
Well, you know, I love you and your mama too, and Akram and the whole family. It is family, isn't it?
It is family, yes. And I think that's why we last so long, you know, we have longevity. I've been doing this 28 years, born act players, and you know, keep students forever, and so do you. It's wonderful because we're family.
Yeah.
Our parents are friends, and you know, their parents are friends, and everybody.
Well, I tell you, coming to LA and Hollywood,
Yeah.
you know, you walk into the Lion's Den, and I was like going, ooh, and thank God for you, Mary, because you
Aw.
opened that door to say, here is your family in LA that's going to keep you safe, mentally, physically, whatever. You know what I mean? So
I do.
thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us, David.
I
Yeah.
love it. And thank
We
you,
love you.
Adam, for making this amazing film with them.
Oh, thank you.
Oh
Thank
my
you for
God.
watching it.
Yeah, we
Oh,
love
yeah.
you, Adam.
Yeah,
You're awesome.
Oh yeah, brother.
And David is a great actor, singer, everything. He's amazing.
I'd love to work with you sometime.
Let's do it.
But the other guy you didn't. Oh, sorry, wait a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
that's it.
no, oh no. What? You were gonna say something?
Yeah, Mr. Allison. My mom knows the guy and his kid.
Oh, cool.
Anderson's another young director like Adam, you know. He's
Yeah.
very nice also. Yeah.
Well, Adam, like I said, I grew up loving cult films, and you have directed numerous features, including films like Psycho Sleepover,
Yeah.
Yeti, a love story for trauma
Yeah. A
entertainment.
lot of trauma movies. Yeah.
That's huge. And it's like I'm reading this and going, and for the Sci-Fi Network, and you work for DreamWorks Animation. What where did this all spark from?
Oh, like in the beginning?
In the beginning, when God created Adam.
I worked at a video store, you know, back in high school. I hadn't really watched many movies at all. And when I was there, that was just kind of a film school. So in high school, I made 2 really bad features on VHS, you know, and then I made a zombie movie with a bunch of my friends for $80 called The Mental Dead. It was a zombie movie. My dad and me built the sets out of cardboard boxes, and we made the whole movie we made for $80, and then but it got sold. It got distribution. We sold it for $5,000 off of $80, and so I said, oh, maybe I can keep doing this. And then we made that Yeti movie, which was known as one of the worst films ever made. And so, but that
I'm busy doing my class.
Are you? Who's that? Please mute yourself if you're not Adam.
And so we just, I just kept doing it with my friends. I co-directed a bunch of movies with my friend Eric, and my friend Jim wrote them, and we all lived in Boston together. We all moved out to LA together, and we still work together, and we keep making things. And and then we need things for our day jobs, but it's still in the film industry. So my friend Eric, he works in editing for reality TV shows, and I do animation for different companies, and I direct things for a lot of different companies. I work for Apple and Gibson Guitars and a bunch of other things, and so we just have to try and just keep going. And during the pandemic, I've been working on my computer the whole time, so I haven't been able to go out too much and shoot things. But I did do one movie, that zombie movie that got canceled in 2020. I ended up shooting it last year.
Was that in Hawaii?
Yeah, we shot it in Hawaii on Oahu, and that one we're just finishing up this week. It'll be a picture locked this week, and so I'm really excited about that one. It's a crazy zombie movie with boats and helicopters and all kinds of crazy stuff. But what I really want to do now is that it's so hard to make those kind of movies, and to go out there, and with with all the COVID protocols in this, it's very difficult, and it's hard. It's not the most fun, but I really want to just do more animation. I want to do more things with these guys.
Oh, good. Are you thinking of actually maybe selling dolls like that?
Gosh, they take so long to make, like weeks. So
Maybe you could make like a couple extra and put them on,
I know.
somewhere, and make another movie from one of the sales.
Yeah, maybe.
You were talking about so many different things, and one of the things that rang in my head was Boston.
Yeah.
That you grew up in Boston, and we have a wonderful actress here today from Boston, who I met on the set of Amazon's Love You More, and she also starred in the wonderful show Away. Miss Felicia Patty, and she wanted to say hello, and she had a question as well.
Hi,
Hello.
how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Just hanging in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. My question was, what time does directors get up in the morning?
Oh, that depends. So let's go to like the animated thing.
Mhm.
That was more of a nighttime thing, right? Because I have a toddler, or like at the time, a 6-month-old when we were making this. So in the morning I had to get up to take care of him, and during the pandemic we didn't have any childcare, or no grandparents came over, so we did that all day long. And then when nap time hit, then we go work, and I come back and then hang out with him all day, and then at night. So I would just stay up until I couldn't stay up any longer, and then pass out, and then I have to get up at the same time every day when he got up. So that would probably be about 6 in the morning. But on the zombie movie we were talking about in Hawaii,
Mhm.
I don't know if we would even talk about getting up, because we were there for 6 weeks, and I think on average I slept 45 minutes a day for 6 straight weeks.
Oh my goodness.
So I wouldn't even consider going to sleep a thing or waking up. It was horrific.
How do you do that?
You shouldn't do that. We didn't have a budget, and we had to just keep working. So, and we were shooting nights. It was a horror movie.
Yeah.
So our shoot day sometimes would start at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And then we'd go till 6 a.m. And then
Mhm.
I'd have to pick up all the trash and clean up and make sure, everybody got, this and that, and make sure that if anything was damaged that we were cleaning. And then by the time we drove home and I took a shower and fell asleep, if we fell asleep, but normally then I'd have to do the rewrites for the next day. So yeah, I'd say about 45 minutes a day we would sleep. So it's a long answer to your short question, but
Mhm.
I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it at all.
Are you catching up on your sleep now?
No, I have a toddler. So yeah.
Oh my God. Well, thank you, Felicia. It's
Yeah,
wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And that's kind of cool that you're from Boston.
Outside of Boston, but yes, I went to school in Boston.
Yeah.
Oh,
How
really?
how long were you there?
Till 2000. All my, I grew up there. So I came out here in 2005. Came out to LA in 2005.
Okay.
So that's
Oh.
right when my senior year of college. Yeah. So 1982 to 2005 is when I
Oh.
lived in Boston.
Wow, that's crazy.
Well,
Boston's great.
right.
Tonight is the Boston Celtics. It's on tonight.
My mom will probably be very excited about that.
I love it.
Not
Well,
a big
thank you,
sports guy
Felicia.
here, so.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day, Adam.
Thank you.
I love it.
too.
I have to say too, Adam, is that you grew up loving all these kind of genres, you could say. Did you have a favorite movie growing up?
Growing up, it fluctuated, but I have a very solid favorite movie that has never changed since probably high school. It's Harold and Maude. I think it's the greatest film ever made. So I have a poster of it right in front of me. I can't show it to you because blurry and I'd have to turn the computer around, but that's my favorite film. I think that's the greatest film ever made, and I don't think anything will ever surpass that. But beyond that, my other favorite films are anything by John Waters. He was my like hero. I'm actually going to get to see him next week, which is exciting, in Massachusetts. I'm going to go out there, and
you've known him for a while.
Yeah, I've known him for a while, but I don't know him well. I would say, but I used to. But yeah, he's my favorite, and I really like. So I like Female Trouble is a movie that I love of
Right,
his.
yeah.
And so Harold and Maude, Female Trouble, and anything probably by Herzog, which would be, but my favorite by him would be Strosek, is probably my other favorite film. So
Okay.
if anybody, I know there's a kind of deep cuts, but
No, I love it. I love it. It's like, because I've seen a lot of his films, but I haven't seen that one. So it makes me say, okay, now I got to go check that out, because I
very
love-
depressing. It's very funny, but also very depressing. Just a
Depressing.
warning. So, and then the other one is probably Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. I love that one.
Right.
And Down by Law by Jim Jarmusch. So those are my top 5 probably.
Oh, I love
I,
it.
I worked at a video store. I have lists. You know,
Right.
it's always about lists. Everybody always says, "Oh, you can't pick a favorite. You can't make." I'm all about lists. So.
Right. Right. And talking about animation as well. I mean, you work Laura and the Lousy Fairy?
Lori the Lousy Fairy. Oh, that was something. Yeah, I did for DreamWorks a long time ago. That was pretty fun. Yeah, that's a children's show. We made a bunch of little kids shows. For like 5-year-olds kind of things. Those were animated programs that, we just kind of cranked those out. They were like 4 minutes long each, those little like bite-sized things.
Right.
Those was fun. I would like to go back to doing that, but it's a lot of work for a lot of, not very sustainable to
Right.
make all that stuff. Yeah. It's pretty
Right.
hard.
What about like Dinglesworth?
That's the same kind of thing. That was for the same company. That was for DreamWorks. That was supposed to be animated, but then we had a live action dog, and that's kind of where I learned how to do a lot of my effects work,
Right.
because I had to make the dog's mouth move and all that. So those were really, really hard, really time consuming, really low pay kind of things that we did. But it's neat to do those kind of things too, because it's like a film school. You learn off of YouTube, and I didn't go to school for that. I went to school for on-set filmmaking.
Right.
So all the animation stuff and all the special effects work that I do, I just learned at home by myself.
Really?
So, yeah.
Well, that's so interesting you're saying this, because we have some animators here at Performing Arts Studio West, and one of them here is developing his own stuff from home, and that's Mr. Matthew Selden. So I'm going to bring him on to connect the two of you as well. Matthew Selden, how are you?
Yeah, how's it going, David?
Hey, Adam, Matthew, Adam.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you too.
So you have Evolution Land, huh?
Yep.
How did that start?
Well, start. So I first began becoming an animator. Yeah, since 2007, I guess.
Oh wow.
I get it. I know this back in 2006. So my dad's put the software on my computer, which is to Boom Studio, which is the first animated software. I've used it.
Right. Now, Adam, this is a question too for Matthew, who's just beginning. How would you suggest going to that next step, getting his stuff out there?
Oh, it doesn't sound like just beginning. You said you've been doing it a lot longer than I have. But that's
Oh yeah. I know I start making animation, I think, since 2008.
that's wild. Wow.
I get. So it looks like I started make animation. Yeah, I think using Adobe Flash.
Yep.
So I start out.
What do you use now?
Adobe Animate.
Yeah, Adobe Animate. Have you tried Character Animator? That comes with it as well. That's kind of fun. Have you ever done that one?
Character Animator.
Yeah, by Adobe.
And I haven't bit. So I use like hand drawn characters.
Yeah. The that I had used that for some stuff too. But to get that stuff out there, I'm so bad at that kind of thing. That I am horrible at marketing myself. But I just kept making things to try and keep making it better and better. And then everything that I've done, they're never show, like you have this, I assume that's a show, right?
Yep.
And so like those kind of things, we never made them first and then put them out there. We always had a company that said we want X amount of things, and then we'd pitch ideas. We'd write 50 shows and they'd pick one. You spend a year writing these things and then they all get thrown away. It was pretty hard to do.
I agree so too.
Yeah. So
How did you get your first job in animation?
Me?
Do you know how I get my
Or
first
both
job?
of you, both of you.
why don't you go?
I don't know. I haven't being a paid. I get paid of making animation. So I'm doing just for fun.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I would.
We'll see. I think I should start to monetize. I think monetize the videos.
Yeah, and advertise them and yeah, that's probably the way. And then try and find some other type of larger company or something to put those things out there. So that's the only way we got our stuff seen.
All right.
Well, I'll have to send you the links or of Evolution Land so you can see it, and of course
Yeah.
I
so
cannot
you
wait.
guys could be connected there.
That sounds wonderful.
Thank you, Matthew.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, I love connecting people and see where it goes and what happens with it. One thing that I wanted to ask too is what is your biggest joy in life? Mhm.
Oh, that's pretty easy. That would be my son. So that's a very easy question. Yeah, but I can't think of anything else,
Love it.
that's it. So, but and I would not say that making films is a joy at this point. I hate to say that. It used to be, but
Yeah.
once I had him, everything else kind of got put to the side, and then your priorities change, being creative and all that. And it's kind of a sad, I wouldn't say it's a sad thing. It's just different, things just change. But it also makes me want to make things that are a little bit different. Things like the Davy short, something like that, something that's more personal. Other stuff, like zombie movies or these cult movies, they're fun to make. And I was doing that to, connect with my friends and make things that I liked to watch. But, now it's a little different. I don't know. I just look at things differently.
Yeah.
I can't really put my finger on it.
No, I completely understand, especially over these last 2 years. I mean,
yes,
my
3 years.
Oh my God, is it 3 now?
No, I don't know.
No, I think you're
20
right.
years maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my God. But even, as things happen in your life, things shift, and then you realize, and if you look at it, and I always look at things the positive way, again, I could go back to Mary Rings and the family that I have now. I am just so happy that I'm here at this moment. I've thought, I'm going to be an actor and this and that. And I've done acting, and then I went into casting after my dad passed away and things shifted, but then I still did this and that. And so, taking the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the journey. We, I know that we have a bunch of people who want to ask some questions, and we have a little more time. So how about Gary? Gary Tewksbury. Gary.
Yes, I'm right here. Hi, David.
Hey.
Nice to meet you, Adam. I think you
Gary.
already answered my question, but that's all right. I just watched Davy's Lullaby earlier today, the first time I had seen
Thank
it,
you.
and the connection that was captured between caregiver and child was just wonderful, beautifully wonderful. I guess I was going to ask you what inspired you to make the film, but you already told us. That was my question.
Yeah. I can elaborate a little bit more though. As far as the message of the movie, which is kind of a sad ending, that was inspired again. It's based on a true story in a way. It's based on my friend, but it's also based on a friend of his who had very elderly parents, and we this like a Special Olympics bowling thing I used to do every Sunday, and we met there, and his parents were in their late 80s, and they were taking care of their son, who was in his 50s, I believe, maybe 40s, 50s. And they would talk to me and say, like, we don't know what we're going to do after we pass away. What's going to happen? What's going to happen to his name was David. And what's going to happen to him? And that really stuck with me. And I thought, yeah, I was just volunteering. I was just, there having fun. Didn't have any answers to that. And it seems like a lot of people still don't have great answers to that. And so that's what I was that's kind of inspired me to do it as well, to just, have some sort of message, some sort of awareness, just have people think, well, what does happen to people that do need a little bit of extra care and after their caregivers are gone. So.
Yeah, it definitely resonated. My father had a stroke several years ago, and I help him as well as work towards my career as a voice actor. So it definitely resonated with me, and so thank you for making it.
Well, thank you for watching.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, David.
Are you thinking of a sequel, maybe?
Actually, yes. So I wouldn't call it a sequel, but I do want to keep with this theme. First off, with the animation and with well, just kind of these characters. I think it's important. It's something, there's a lot to say about it, and it's not shown too often. I have seen some pretty wonderful films about the topic, even pretty recently at Real Abilities, and but it needs to be more. I mean, more. I think everybody needs to, it needs to make more stories about this. There's just not enough. We have a lot of stories about, military people in helicopters shooting people. We don't need that anymore. I don't care about Top Gun, well, as great as that might be. It's just, I don't care. So there's enough of that. So let's do something else. So
definitely. Hey, Francisco, are you there? Because I saw you wrote a little something there. Francisco is a voice artist who wants to really get into the business, and wanted to see too, what would you suggest about how to get in as a voice actor?
Me saying that? Or,
yeah.
Nice to meet you, Adam.
Nice to meet you too. Gosh, I have done so much casting with voice actors, and honestly, this is kind of embarrassing to say. I've always just, so many of my friends are actors, and I just keep using them over and over again. Like the Wicked Witch in my short is played by my friend Corsica, who stars in my zombie movie, who is in the Lori the Lousy Fairy show, who is, it's stuff like that. I guess that's not nepotism. It's just that I'm kind of lazy when it comes to casting, and so I just like, and as I've told you, David, earlier, it gives me such anxiety to do that. But a lot of my friends work a lot, and they get a lot of jobs through this. Video games, doing voice acting for video games, and I have so many connections with directors and that I always am trying to send my friends or people I know to them, because they constantly need, they need like 500 people for a video game, something like that. For a short film or something, you need 2 people. You need 3 people. It's like, and there's so few and far between, and it's one day of work. When you're in a video game or something, you can just keep doing that, unless you get The Simpsons, what else are you going to do? Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought on that.
And you do a lot of voices, don't you, Francisco?
Oh yeah, I started since 2011.
Nice. Well, I say, keep on with the dream is what I say.
Yeah, it's all about the connections, unfortunately, so
yeah, but
anybody needs any, I can send you to some of my friends in the video game world. I feel like people are always working. So.
I love video games. Doesn't matter how long or short it is. I can do long scripts.
Yeah, they're just like constantly making those things. I know nothing about that, but yeah,
me neither.
My friends do.
Well, thank you, Francisco.
So
Jane.
You know, what's interesting too is you were saying about you cast a lot of the same people. Well, I mean, John Cassavetes did that for all his films too.
Well,
Once
it's
you
wife
start,
and it's kids and it's yeah.
right? So it's like, and you keep casting the people you know because you know they work and they they're good.
That's my other favorite movie. Just reminded me, Woman Under the Influence. That's my other favorite.
Yeah.
Impossible to watch because it's so devastating, but one of my favorites. So.
Well, it's that balance of life and things that come out of the dark sometimes, and vampires or this or that, zombies. What is it about this too? People say, oh, it's those horror films, they're corrupting people and they're making them do things. But I grew up and I became a nice person and I loved horror films.
Me too. So I don't know if I'm a nice person. That's for anybody else to judge. But
Right.
But yeah, I love that stuff. But I only like that stuff. I wouldn't say those are my favorite kinds of movies. I just loved the craft of it, and the special effects really intrigued me. Like, oh my gosh, how did they do that?
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna sound real old now and kind of a curmudgeon, but like, you just use CG and everything's easy. Not easy, but everything's just like you can do anything. But I like to figure out like, oh, where was the string here? Where was the spout that came out of the person's neck that did that? That's what intrigued me about things like Evil Dead or Dawn of the Dead. I love the special effects and the makeup. So that's what really excited me about that stuff. So, my favorite movies, were more heavy drama.
Night of the Living Dead, I used to turn on all the lights. Took me like 10 times to finally get past the first 2 minutes. And finally I turned on all the lights in the house. This was a Creature Features, watching it at 11 p.m. at night, eating my split pea soup. I don't know why I remember that. That was a different movie.
That's The Exorcist, yes.
Right. But I finally made it through. We have another voice actor here, Julian Carrasco. Julian, let's see where we can get you.
Hey, Adam.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. Just writing some stuff too.
Yeah.
I just had an idea too.
Great. What is it? No, don't tell me. Then I'll steal it. So.
My question is, when you write something, or like, what do you like picture in your head?
Oh, okay. So whenever I always come up with something, obviously before I write it, and then I talk about it till it's the most boring thing in the world. I talk to my friends, I talk to my wife about it. So everything that I've written has been talked to death. And so usually by the time I actually do write something, I've already figured out everything that happens with it. So I'm not sure.
You get emotional?
Say that again?
When you write, do you think of like being emotional?
I usually get my emotion of writing is usually frustration. I don't consider myself a writer. I do it out of necessity because I can't afford anybody else to write the things for me. So I've always just done it out of that. But when it came to this short, it was impossible for me to write. It was so difficult because I was just crying the whole time because I just kept thinking about my friend. But I always thought that would be kind of like, okay, if it is making me think that, maybe this will resonate with somebody else as well. When it came to like a horror movie, I was just trying to figure out the best gags. I would always think about like, oh, how are we gonna blow this thing up, or how are we gonna do that? And that's just fun. That's more of like, I would do that with my friends. But this is one of the few things that I've written by myself, was the short. Everything else I've written with my friend Eric and my friend Jim that I mentioned earlier, and then my other partner Enzo. I always try and find people that are much better than me to write things for me. But
collaboration.
Yeah, but for a short, this was I had help with it. Of course, my wife and my friend Amalia. She helped me a lot. She's a very big writer, and she would do my notes and things like that. But when I think about it, this one was very emotional. Everything else I've done has not been. It's just been funny, and comedy. Everything else has been comedy. This is my first drama thing, but
same thing with me. I write whatever, and then I try to see if to put it together, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
then you
thank you,
go.
Julian.
Thank you, David.
Oh, sorry, you were saying, Adam.
Nope. I was just saying, you just keep trying things and keep getting rid of the loop, the holes. That's what I kept trying to do. So there's always holes. So you find them even when you're editing. That's my favorite part, is when I actually edit after the writing, after you shoot it, just editing and cutting everything out. So fixing things.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see. I think we have time for two more. How about Shannon Diericks?
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Shannon.
I do have a question for you.
Great.
What's the most challenging thing about making David's lullaby?
Okay. Everything. There was nothing that was not challenging about it. But this is kind of a cop-out kind of answer, but costumes and sewing, I cannot do that at all. That was the one thing that I could not figure out. Making these tiny little costumes and everything, and sewing these things. So I don't know how to do any of that. So my wife did that. I was like sitting at sewing in the middle of the night, trying to be quiet so my son didn't wake up like crying, because I could not do it. So my wife had to end up doing all of that stuff. So I have decided that I will never sew. That is, I can't do it. My fingers are too fat, and I could not do it.
Right.
I could not do it. But the hardest thing was probably just writing it and making sure that I was going to hit the right emotional notes that I wanted to. I don't know if I fully succeeded to me, but I got almost there. But this is my first try. And then just the time consuming aspect of it is finding the time to do these things was so hard, because if I don't know if you've seen the film, but some of it's in American Sign Language, and moving these tiny, I don't know if you can look at my finger and see how small, this out of focus thing, how small their fingers are. And having, he's out of focus. I don't know what this thing is, but anyway, yeah, there you go.
Oh, there it is.
How small it is. Having to move these little fingers and everything, and making sure it was right. My mother speaks sign language, and she taught at, speaking of Boston, she taught at Perkins School for the Deaf, Blind, and Multi-Handicap, and that's where my father and her met. And she did help me with all the sign language. I used to speak sign language up until I was like 5 years old, but I've lost it. I can still understand it fairly well, but I need to come back to it. But that was really hard, making sure that was accurate and not cutting away from that stuff to show the sign language. And my friend, who is the person who this is based on, he had a very different sign language. He didn't do normal American Sign Language. He had his own signs. And so keeping true to that, having them be slightly wrong, not wrong, but different, so that was really hard.
I love how you incorporate all that, though.
I was just trying to keep it exactly like, who he was. So it's like,
how long did it take you to make this film?
2 years. It was 2 years of working probably 5 days a week.
Wow.
Yeah. And then editing it and doing all that. Like, one thing to say is the blinks, they're not those are digital. That's the one thing I didn't do in camera, because it was just like having to take their eyes out and put it back. It just, I couldn't do that. Right. So that you think about, like, that was another 5 months of blinks of just me sitting at my computer doing blinks, things like that. So, but cleaning up thumbprints or taking out screws on the bottom of his feet, things like that. So
right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Very time-consuming.
But it's that thing when it comes from here, you make magic.
Can I yeah, so great.
Yeah, you wanted to pick someone?
No, I just I see some other people I want to ask questions at the top, but can I pick somebody, or is there?
Of course.
I don't know if I'm saying the name right. She's just the first one, that Jamesia.
Jamesia.
Oh,
there's Jamesia.
I just saw you there the whole time putting your hand up.
Hey, Adam.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Wonderful.
How you doing?
I'm so happy to be here.
Two things. How long are you doing uh, director?
How am I doing on it? Like how's it going?
How you doing on a director?
Let me see if I can answer that correctly. I do that by it's out of necessity. Again, it's not something, because I said before, it's not something that I really love doing anymore. It's just something because I want to tell these stories, and I love having the finished product. So when I do that, I'm usually very cautious. I try and be very organized, and I try and do everything to keep everybody happy. My job, and this is a bad way of saying it, but I'm going to say it anyway, it's like being a babysitter, because I just want to try and keep everybody happy and calm and wanting to be there every day, because it's so hard to do. And it's that's mostly what I do. As far as when it comes to the acting aspect of it, I'm not an actor. I do know what I usually want, but I usually leave that up to the actors to do. I usually try and pick people that I know I can work with and know that their capabilities, and go with that. And a lot of times I even write stories based around actors that I already know are going to be in it, so I know what they can do and what will be easier for me. I try and make things very simple for myself. Never works out that way, but as long as you plan that way, then it makes it a little bit easier.
Another thing, how you in the app? How you doing? How you in the app?
And how do I know how to make people act a certain way?
Yeah.
That's pretty similar to the other question, or what I said, because I don't actually. I don't. Anybody can tell you, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I just try and get what I think that I want. And so whether that's correct or not, I do not know. But in the end, like if I try and do it just again based on what I think people's abilities are on the set, and you know, like different when I with Casey and Mary, because I did not know them before. That was a more of a different experience where I actually had to cast, but just seeing them talk to each other and talking to them beforehand, before we even had an audition, I was just like, oh, I know what we can do. I know the love there, and I know that's what I was looking for. It wasn't about acting per se. It was just about feeling.
Yeah. Good question, Jamesia. Thank you. Thank you. And Shannon, one last question for you today, Adam. What do you want the most at this moment in your life?
In business wise, are you talking about? In filmmaking wise? In
your life, whatever that means to you.
That is such a hard question. What do I want the most? I mean, it goes back to my son and my family. I'd say I want them to be fulfilled, and I want to be there as much as possible with them. And I want everybody to be comfortable. I think, like, if you want to get really big with it, I want everybody to feel seen, and I want everybody to feel loved. And I know that's impossible, but I want to strive for that. This is like the cheesiest answer I could ever say. But
it's good cheese.
Yeah, I want everybody to do what they want to do, and I want everybody to know that they can, that there's that we all should just be helping each other. And I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that.
I think you did. I think it's about bringing people together, and it's about that love, you know.
Thank you, David. That's exactly what it is. Yes.
And I see that, and that's what I felt too. You know, even just when you answered the phone, you just have this voice that, you know, it was soothing, it was friendly, it was like open arms. So thank you.
Thank you. I wish we could do this all day.
thank you, Adam, so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Thank you, Adam.
Adam.
Hello, Mr. David.
Hey.
And my favorite entertainment teacher ever.
David.
I know you.
Yeah, you. I know you.
Adam. I have a question for Adam.
That's Johnny. That's what I saw.
Hey.
Hey.
Hello, Mr. David.
Shannon.
Oh my gosh. So many people here that I know.
Yes, me and Monday.
Hi,
We
Johnny.
met each other.
I hear Chris.
Hi, Isaac.
That was funny.
I can't wait.
Adam?
Hey.
You're really great, Adam.
Thank you.
Yes, Adam.
You're awesome.